almost ska-ish, punk, a little bit of punk-ish.
It's just
They weren't very good.
punk, reggae, and kilts with bagpipes.
No, ska.
Ska.
Like sometimes they have ska songs with like horns in them.
Oh, ska. I thought you said Scottish.
Yes.
Okay.
You guys are really confused.
Ska?
It's like
Punk rock reggae. basically.
Okay. Maybe
it's
they're
basically the
looking
worst
at
genre of music.
Sublime as well. Interesting.
I think they were.
I need a course in catching up with millennials. Okay. The Sublime. The Sublime is. Has anybody used the word about a day? Or what, if somebody says it was a sublime, do you want a sublime day for your wedding?
No.
No, why not?
Isn't it kind of savage or like it's not really exciting?
No.
I
Kind
thought
of peaceful.
Sublime is supposed to be good.
It's supposed to be what?
In today's culture, it's normally taken as good.
Yeah.
Okay, current usage of the sublime is usually good. And happy and chipper. Make lines through that part of the definition when you were writing your notes, though. It's not that for the romantics. For the romantics, the sublime is an encounter with something, with a transcendent power, but it's a dark encounter, or it's looking at kind of the underbelly of the power, I guess you could say.
with a dark power.
It's not a dark power though. It's looking at the force, kind of the invisible force of the universe, the cosmos, and encountering, we could say God, but in his awesomeness, okay? Not in the little lamb that made thee.
In his judgment.
Maybe his judgment. It's very much like Job encountering God in the whirlwind. You kind of go, okay, you're God, I'm backing off, right? It's not the pleasant stuff. It's not the sweet. It's not teddy bears and butterflies. It's not. I mean,
Like a humbling encounter.
it's a really
Yeah.
humbling encounter, and that's important. It needs to be transcendent, but it is powerful in an awesome way. And sometimes it does appear you encounter it in a way that you are changed. But you may encounter it in things like houses where the dead, dead bones are kept, the dead are kept until burial is possible, or cemeteries, or ruins of old buildings. It might be where you would see it. You see it in Wordsworth, in like huge mountains, or in storms, things like that. That we want to know that that is the power of God, rather than a volcano caused it, right? Or God is in control. And he says in "The World Is Too Much With Us." Turn to that poem. I think it's the last poem in your anthology. I didn't assign it. It's the last Wordsworth. Well, last one by Wordsworth, not as agreed. William Wordsworth, by the way. Do you have The World Is Too Much With Us? Yeah. That's on 800. And it's "The world is too much with us, late and soon. Getting and spending we lay waste our powers. Little we see in nature that is ours." Right? Page 800. Okay, when you are going, we don't typically encounter God in Walmart, right? And probably not in a traffic jam, or when you're going, there's an 18-wheeler behind me and right in front of me, and what am I going to do? Well, you might, yeah. You might meet God then, but which lane? Or how much is this per ounce and how much is that per? It's like the mundane stuff in the world where we're just trying to rush off to work, we're trying to rush off to school or whatever. We get this sense that he says, the world is too much with us, late and soon. Getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. Little do we see in nature that is ours. Yeah, we have given our hearts away, a sordid boon. This sea that bears her bosom to the moon, the winds, thank you. I can actually read it. The winds that will be howling at all hours and are upgathered now like sleeping flowers, For this, for everything, we are out of tune. Okay, saying all this rushing around to make money, and remember, industrialism is happening now. You're getting factories, train travel is coming into existence. Everything's moving really quickly. And he says, for everything, we are out of tune. It moves us not. Look at these two lines. This is page 801. Great God, I'd rather be a pagan. I'd rather be a pagan suckled in a creed outworn. So might I, standing on this pleasantly, have glimpses that would make me less forlorn. Have sight of Proteus rising from the sea, or hear old Triton blow his reeded horn. He says, I wish I were a pagan, because the pagans believe that if there's a huge storm, it's Triton, it's Poseidon, it's the god of the sea that's stirring it all up, Iolus, the winds, instead of looking out there and going, it's a low pressure system and it's going to wipe out my house. I mean, he wants to see God again. And so they look to the sublime.
The hunger for supernatural.
They have a hunger, a craving for the supernatural, yes. And so that's what we're going to see here. And so please, for Monday, reading quiz on Lines Composed above Tintern Abbey and Ode on Intimations of Immortality. And we'll talk about it. It may be difficult reading, but we'll talk about it on Monday. Ode on Intimations.